Okay, guys, so believe it or not, our boy Wembanyama actually has a legitimate shot to win Defensive Player of the Year.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
So we got some votes in, and we're going to take a look at that because it looks like Victor could legitimately catch up, or it's going to be a close race nonetheless for him to win Defensive Player of the Year. So let's take a look here. So these are the updated numbers as far as votes. It's not that many. It says 22, but I think it's really 21. Somebody voted twice or something. So I think it's 13 to 8 actually. So that's really close. And I know you're probably looking at this and you're like, well, that's a pretty, decent margin, but it's actually not, because I think we have a total of 120 people. It's near 100. It's near 100. Okay, so we have a lot more votes to go in. I don't know who voted yet. I haven't seen that. And if anybody knows, or you have like a link to an article or anything like that, like please send it my way. That's cool. Like send it on Twitter or whatnot. That's probably the most efficient way. I don't always see the comments on here all the time. But yeah, so Rudy Gobert, 13 actually. Victor Wembanyama 8, and I just thought I'd update you guys on that. And I came across this the Ringer article, and I never went over it. I just now seen it, honestly. But they actually made a pretty decent case, or great case, for Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this is back in March, so this is near the end of March when they post this. So some of the language here is obviously a little out of date. Like, for instance, he says he leads the league in with 3.5 blocks per game. Like, obviously they're talking about at the time. But yeah, so anyways, so scrolling down here, what I found interesting, because this is just a fun fact, I did not know this. So at the time of this article, it says Wemby doesn't send blocks flying towards the third row. Obviously, instead he snatches shots out of the air. We all know that. But this right here, the Spurs have recovered 68% of Wemby's 213 blocks at the time. 68%. That seems quite unheard of. That's the highest proportion for any player with at least 60 blocks. That's really impressive. Okay, that's straight up turnovers right there. So you just love to see it, man. And it says Wembanyama has 66 more recovered blocks than Gobert at the time, per PBP stats, and 37 more steals at the time, meaning he's flipped possessions into his team's favor 103 more times, or 81% more often than Rudy Gobert. I am not going to sit here and disrespect Rudy. I understand that he's a really great defender, obviously, like we all know this. But I've seen some people make the argument that, well, Rudy deserves it this year over Wemby. I don't know in what metric, what defensive stats we're looking at here, how he affects the team, what planet in which Rudy Gobert deserves it over Wemby. The only argument that you could use, which I think is a bad argument for Defensive Player of the Year, is the fact that Rudy Gobert has more wins. And just addressing one of the comments that I saw as well on I don't know if it's my last video or the video before last. I think it was the video before last. Somebody said, well, Clan, keep in mind that, just because you're the best defensive player in the NBA, because I said that, Wemby is the best defensive player, and obviously all the NBA players, or the ones that voted for Wemby being the best defensive player. They said that doesn't mean that you're the best defensive player, or you're the Defensive Player of the Year. And I understand what you're saying, right? Like, maybe Kawhi Leonard at some point he shouldn't have won Defensive Player of the Year, but he was technically the best defender all around, but he didn't have the stats to really make it there. But that is not the case with Wemby. Also, yes, Wemby's rookie year, he's in his rookie year, which means he played 1 year and he's the best defensive player in the NBA. To me, that's Defensive Player of the Year. He played 1 year. This is his 1 year. I don't know. Just overall, I didn't really understand the argument there. I understand kind of what you were going for, but it just seems like Wemby is just an anomaly, and that's just what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and try, and obviously I get biased with things at times, but when it comes to Wemby, even though he's my favorite player in the NBA, I I do sit here and I was trying to think of any reason why Rudy should win it over Wemby, and I just can't think of any. Honestly, I just can't think of any. But anyways, so this was interesting as well, and then we'll just get on out of here. Voters long ago realized that although blocks and steals are the main defensive counting stats, they aren't the be-all, end-all of defensive performance because they apply to such a relatively small percentage of possessions. Since Dwight Howard won his second Defensive Player of the Year in 2010, it was 2010. Voters have given the award to the season's block champion just once in 13 chances. That was Jackson last year. Jackson last year. Gobert, ironically, was the blocks champion in 2016-17, but didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. Then won 3 times in the following season when he didn't lead the league in blocks. So that's something. And if they're looking at advanced metrics, then Wemby beats him there too. So I don't know. And somebody mentioned actually they were talking about Jeremy Sohan, but they mentioned defensive rating and comparing that. And defensive rating is just a bad metric to go off of when we're talking about individual defense, because that's really team based. Like, it's not just one player that can affect the defensive rating to that degree. I think it was like I was making the argument that Sohan's a great defender, which he is. I don't think many people would disagree with that, especially people that people that play against him wouldn't disagree with that. I think Donovan Mitchell would agree that he's a pretty great defender. But yeah, anyways, just want to point that out. However, it's possible that stocks have been viewed as overrated for so long that they're now underrated. Blocks and steals are incredibly valuable, not only because they stop the opposing team from scoring, but because they catalyze transition opportunities on the other end. This chart, based on an analysis of PBP, stats data, shows just how much steals and blocks improve the offensive possessions that follow. So you can see here, offensive rating: steal 134, blocking rim 126, missed shots 118, made shots 113, dead ball 111. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys this and give you a little update on the voting so far, but it does look like he has a legitimate shot, and that's good, man. I'm excited. But anyways, I will get with you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.